The night turns. Spiders spin their steady webs between the hangings and walls of the great hall. The cloak of darkness is still hanging over the world when the lord of the castle and his retinue leap out of bed, go to an early mass, gobble a hasty breakfast, and set out for the hunt. As soon as they are at a distance from the castle, they let loose with their bugles, driving the hounds into a frenzy. And no creature in the forest is safe. But what of Sir Gawain, back at the castle? Well, he sleeps safe and content and warm underneath rich covers in a sumptuous bed. But as he dreams and breathes, he hears a creaking noise. He opens one eye and he sees the beautiful young wife of the lord of the castle creeping into his door and shutting it behind her. Gawain's blood rises. His brain races. What can he do to avoid embarrassment? He clenches his eyes tightly closed and pretends to be asleep. He even gives a little snore. Beside him, the lady of the castle settles herself down on the bed, neat as a cat, and arranges her gown daintily around her. And she waits. And waits. Finally, Gawain can take it no longer. He allows his eyelids to flutter open, and as soon as he sees the lady, he ensures there is an expression of alarm upon his face, and then he actually crosses himself. The lady hoots with laughter. My fine young sir! Do you think I'm some devil that you have to defend yourself against? I think anybody could have sneaked in here while you were snoring. And now look, I have you trapped. And she falls upon the knight in a close embrace. Gawain backs away as politely as he can ensure. Well, my fine young lady, it seems that I am at your mercy. Mercy being, of course, a feminine virtue. By your leave, may your prisoner dress himself so that we may talk more comfortably. I have better orders for you. Stay in your bed. I am going to be your queen, your very own Guinevere, and you are my prisoner, because everybody says that you are the finest knight in the whole wide world. And what with my husband and his men out hunting and everybody else busy or in bed and the door shut tight with a bolt, it's up to me to make sure that you are well cared for. What is your desire? Whatever pure joy is your desire, my lady, is also mine. Then I demand service. If you want your freedom, you're going to have to win it. Tell me about your shield. As you see fit. Here is the pentangle, the endless knot, which is a sign of witchcraft, is it not? No. It is a sign of the virtues which bind together the brotherhood of knights. You see, there are 5 points, and each one represents 5 qualities of knighthood, and each point depends on all the others and flows into all the others. Flawless, impenetrable, perfectly formed. I think those words describe you very well. And here, on the other side, a picture of Our Lady the Virgin, so that I may always be reminded to be pure whenever my courage fails me. Tell me about your most terrifying adventure. And so on. The minutes wisp away like sparks from a fire as they talk. and always the lady pushes the knight to accept her love, and always he finds a way to hold her at bay in the most honourable, polite way possible. Finally, she sighs. I must leave. But before I go, admirable though your exploits undoubtedly are, it's clear to me you cannot be Sir Gawain. Why? He thinks his manners are at fault. Well, no knight as famed for his politeness as Gawain is could ever have stayed so long with a lady and not asked for a kiss. But what if I had asked and been refused? Then I should have been at fault. Oh, honestly, as if anyone could refuse you anything. I am your queen, am I not? I am at your command. The lady laughs again, but only a little this time. And then she leans forward and takes the knight's face in her hands, and she kisses him once, and then she leaves. You have never seen a knight get himself to mass as quickly as Gawain does that morning. Later in the afternoon, the lord of the castle returns home, exhausted and exhilarated and covered in muck and blood. He brings with him a slaughtered deer, and he spreads the flesh in front of Gawain and grins at him. All this is yours, according to our wager. Are you happy? And Gawain smiles and steps up to the lord and embraces him closely and kisses him. In a proper manner, of course. Oh, those are some winnings. It'd be better still if you could tell me who they came from, eh? That wasn't part of our wager. Don't ask me again. And they sit and laugh and talk, and in front of the whole court, they agree to play the same game again tomorrow. And the next day, again, the lord sets out before dawn on his hunt. And again, his lady wife goes calling on Gawain and tries to get him to accept her love. And again, Gawain politely and courteously holds her at his arm's length. However, on the second morning, the lady manages to claim 2 kisses from Gawain, so that when her husband returns home at the end of the day, Gawain must bestow 2 kisses on his host. Everything is as it should be. Gawain has paid his debt according to his agreement. He has kept up his responsibilities to his host and maintained his courtesy to his lovely hostess. However, on the second night, when he sits beside the lady over dinner, he finds himself distracted. Not so much with conversation this time, but more with looks and smiles with the lady, and a familiarity which shows that they have grown used to each other. After all, she has sat on his bedside for 2 mornings now. They have been very close. At the end of the night, when the lord of the castle hails Gawain over to sit beside him, the young knight begs for permission to leave the following day, for tomorrow is New Year's Eve and he must be ready to meet his challenge at the Green Chapel. I promise you, as I am an honest man, I will have you at your Green Chapel in good time to meet your doom on New Year's Day. One more day to play our wager, eh? Man can be muddy any time. Let's keep on making merry while we can. And Gawain smiles and nods, and soon they are all in bed again. The next morning, The lord of the castle is up and out early again, thundering across the hard, frost-bitten ground on his horse, charging after a fox. Meanwhile, back at the castle, his young wife is tiptoeing down the corridor to call on Gawain for the third and final time, her toes curling inside her thin silk slippers at the chill. With a sense of ease, she throws open Gawain's chamber door, strides over to his window, and flings it open. "Wake up, Sir Gawain! The morning is perfect!" But Gawain is still asleep, and his dreams today are troubled with thoughts of the challenge that he must face in less than 24 hours with the monster at the Green Chapel. His brow is furrowed, and there are beads of sweat like pearls on his upper lip. The lady sees this, goes over, and drops a friend's kiss on his face. As soon as he senses her touch, Gawain is awake, and the old knight is back again, polite and courteous as ever, the epitome of courtliness. And they sit and talk with the familiarity that has grown between them. But on this third morning, the lady pushes Gawain harder than she ever has previously to accept her love. And it becomes clear that he will have to either take it from her or reject her totally, here and now. "You must see that you've wounded me to my very heart. Tell me, do you have another somewhere who you love better? Is that why you can't love me?" "There is no other, and there won't be, not for a long time." The lady nods and sighs deeply. She stands as if she's about to leave. "Well, I asked you the question and you've told me the truth. I must go on my way, a lady who has loved too well. But before I go, won't you give me something to remember you by? Before I have to deal with the loss of you leaving, my sweet Gawain." Oh, the young knight is caught out. "I am a knight on a quest in a strange land. I have nothing of value that I could give to you, my lady." "Then you must allow me to give you something of mine to take away with you." And before the knight's very eyes, the lady reaches inside her topcoat and pulls out a green girdle. It is beautiful, emerald silk and embroidered with gold. Well, Gawain's eyes nearly pop out of his head, but he refuses. "What if your husband or someone else were to see it and realise that you had given it to me so privately? What would they say?" "So now you refuse my silk? Something so small and worthless? Oh, for shame!" "You know, the old woman gave this to me, and she told me that anybody who wrapped it around their body would be safe from the blow of any weapon and could never be killed, not for all the treachery in the world." The knight hesitates. Would it be so wrong to break his word to the Lord when he has been so disciplined for 3 mornings so far? What if he did seize on something that could save his life? He looks at the lady and nods. The lady smiles again, hands over her silk, kisses the knight twice, and leaves. It is Gawain's final day at the castle, and there is merrymaking and caroling and dancing in his honour. In the late afternoon, the Lord returns home, and the hall falls silent as he strides along its length. His feet seem to hit the floor like hammer blows. And then Gawain himself springs from his place and dashes towards the host. It's as if they are galloping towards each other in the lists, about to collide, until Gawain reaches out his arms and takes the Lord's big body in his arms and embraces him. He quivers as he bestows 3 kisses on his host. The Lord's face is a blank as they separate. Is that your lot? Gawain nods. Well, you've done well for yourself. I've been out all day and all I've brought back is this stinking fox. And he flings the bloody carcass at the knight's feet. Gawain puts his hands on his host's shoulders and smiles warmly at him. I thank you. I thank you as truly as I can. It is the most riotously joyful of their evenings together. The sweetest, loudest caroling, the most furious, breathtaking dancing, the finest feast. But finally, the night has gone and people start to take their leave and go to bed, and the time has passed. I can't tell you how the knight sleeps on this last night, and whether the thought of his quest disturbs his dreams, but I can tell you how these games play out.